Okay, so today we are going to explain the standard, the Australian standard entitled SQF. So SQF, it's a safe quality food standard, and we are going to talk basically about the edition 8, which is the latest version of the standard, okay? So SQF, or Safe Quality Food, it is an Australian initiative that focuses not only on the safety of the food, but as well as on the quality and on initiating improvement strategies to upraise the level of the food safety. Okay, and the main aim are, first of all, to raise the standards food safety and quality across the food chain from farm to fork. Second, to develop high level of standards. Third, to increase the recognition of the SQF system. So we will see that when the system started, okay, we had a few standards related to the SQF, and with time, they expanded the standards to cover many aspects. So we have an SQF for labeling, we have an SQF for manufacturing, we have an SQF for quality, we have an SQF for safety. So whenever you apply to get certified by SQF, you have to choose which SQF you want, okay? So we do have many systems of SQFs, and the main aim is to be recognized in sort of competing kind of with ISO in the existing market. So whenever you will mention that this company, X company, is SQF certified, so this is very well known at the international scale. And we have an integrity of SQF codes. So we'll figure out that we do have many codes in the SQF, but there is a proper integration between the SQF codes. So all of them, they are, they talk common sense, they are really integrated together. So SQF code meets the need of suppliers in the food industry. It is an internationally recognized system, and again, it's HACCP-based. So again, the BRC is HACCP-based, and here also the SQF is HACCP-based. So we see that the HACCP is the cornerstone of whatever is the standard. We need to rely on HACCP, and this is why HACCP is very important. This is why I all the time focus on the implementation of the HACCP, because whenever you are able to implement HACCP, it will be very easy to implement any other standard, okay? So the implementation of the SQF goes also with the implementation of the supplying as well as the distribution of the end product. So it's a farm to fork approach. Definitely we need to assess separately the product and the service related to the product. We will receive a quality shield, like a stamp that we are SQF certified, and we are integrating the Codex HACCP methodology, and it's an ethical module. So the edition 8 of SQF was mainly redesigning the food safety and quality to fit more the need of the market. So, you know, whenever we upgrade a standard, definitely all the time, the upgrade or the improvement of the standard or the enacting of a new version comes from the need of the market to fulfill a certain gap. So here we are saying that the redesign, the fact of submitting the latest edition, it was in order to fit more the need of the operation and industry sector. And here we integrated more the good industrial practices, and we focused more on regulatory issues. So we focused more on avoiding food fraud and on considering a food defense plan, which was already mentioned in the BRC. So in the SQF and the BRC, we integrate the quality aspect, and we emphasize on the importance of avoiding fraud. However, fraud was not mentioned in the ISO at any point, okay? So I think it's an additional value to consider fraud, specifically that we are actually finding many adulterated products in the market without any kind of control. So here also in this edition, we address the quality elements for a continuous improvement, the PDCA cycle, and it includes the Global Food Safety Initiative certification. So Global Food Safety Initiative certification, it's a benchmark for the certification where you can find the list of standards known to be acceptable or approved, okay? So we'll see that some SQF standards are already on this list, which is internationally approved, and some others, they are already submitted, waiting to get the approval. So as I told you before, we have many SQF editions and codes. So I will start with the fundamental one called SQF, Food Safety Fundamentals, where we can apply it to manufacturing of food, to food packaging, because it's very general, to primary production, to the farmers, and even to distribution. But this one is not still benchmarked, but it will get, it's already submitted to benchmarking. So the second, it's SQF Food Safety Code for primary production. So it's another SQF Food Safety Code, but here we are mainly targeting the primary production, so more the livestock, the produce, the aquaculture, all what is pre-farm gate activities, and it will be submitted for benchmarking. So why I'm talking about the different codes, I'm just showing you the different codes of SQF, because you should know that every single code is applicable to a specific activity. And then therefore, whenever a company is willing to get certified for one SQF, they should find the SQF appropriate to its type of activity and submit to this code, okay, to get certified to its code. But the SQF code that we are going to elaborate in this lecture in the coming slides is mainly for manufacturing, okay? Because we will not be able actually to cover all the aspects. You know that every single code is around 100 pages. So I considered only the manufacturing, because mainly as a food industry, we care about manufacturing. So there is also a SQF code for food retail. So it's a very new standard, and here mainly it is applicable in retail, wholesale, and groceries. We have also a food safety code for manufacture of food packaging. So here it's more targeting the industries manufacturing food packaging. So addresses items that may be used in manufacturing of food service facilities, such as paper towel, napkins, all what is packaging of food. We have also an SQF code for the safety of the storage and distribution. So here mainly it is being used by the distribution company, the storage companies, and of perishable, akid, and non-perishable food and feed products. And we have the SQF quality food. So it is mainly related to quality, but here, as we can see, can be audited as an extension of the food safety or standard alone. So you can get a certification for the safety separately and the quality separately, or you can do an audit in parallel to benefit from both aspects. But here, as you can see, in contrast with the ISO, it's a food safety quality management system. So when you will get an ISO 22000 certification, as if you are already implementing both aspects. But here in SQF, we have different codes. So here it is separate. So the quality does not affect the score of the safety. So here you should know that to be able to get certified for both codes, you should get the appropriate rate for both codes. Audit rate. We will talk about the audit rates later on. And we have the SQF code for manufacturing that I'm going to elaborate on today. So it's basically linked to pack houses, slaughterhouses, and manufacture of animal feed and pet food, and even human food. So now we will start with the SQF code edition 8. So it's basically implementing and maintaining the SQF food safety code for manufacturing of food. So in the first part, I will show you how to apply for a certification. So what do we need to get a certificate? And in the second part, so this is part A, and the part B, we will look at the aspect on how to implement an SQF code. So we have two different aspects. The first aspect is how to get the certification, how to contact the certification body. We see that we have many common points with the ISO. The second aspect is how to implement the SQF code. So first of all, how to prepare, how the company prepares itself for a certification. So first of all, they need to be very familiar with the SQF code to prepare ourselves for manufacturing. Number two, they need to select which codes or which modules are they going to implement, because as we have seen that we do have many codes, okay, and we'll see that in the code we have modules. We'll see this in the next slide. We should be registered on the SQF database. So we have a website called Safe Quality Food Database. So to be eligible to apply for the certification, the name of our company should be registered on the SQF database. We should use SQF consultant. This is optional, so we can ask for the assistance of an SQF consultant, a consultant who is already aware on how to implement SQF. we should designate internally an SQF practitioner. So we should assign a task internally for an SQF practitioner to handle the implementation of the SQF. From the other side, the company should later on assign an auditor for the SQF. So أنا من عندي, whenever I'm implementing SQF, I can ask for an SQF consultant assistance, or if internally I do have a practitioner of SQF, I ask him to handle the task from A to Z. From the other side, the certification body should assign an SQF auditor to audit my premises. And then we should know that all the staff should be exposed to SQF implementation training, so they should be aware about the training. Definitely, the SQF code should be documented and implemented. We document first and then we implement. We have documents like guidelines called SQF guidance documents that we can use for further explanation of the SQF code. So they are guidelines, much more explanatory, facilitating the understanding of the SQF code. We can select the certification body, okay, because we have in Australia many certification bodies accredited to give us or to award us the SQF certificate, and we conduct a pre-assessment audit. The pre-assessment audit, most of the time, it's an internal audit to see if we are ready to ask for the official audit, the external audit, or not yet. So preparation for the certification, so this is done at the level of the company. So 1, we learn about the SQF code. 2, we select the modules. 3, we register ourselves in database. 4, we can use SQF consultant. As you can see, it's optional. 5, we design a practitioner who should be actually exposed to a training on SQF implementation. This is recommended, okay? And 7, we document and implement the SQF. We select the certification body. By doing this, we can ask for the assistance of the guidelines called guidance document, and then we conduct a pre-assessment before asking for the certification body to come in-house. So learn about the SQF code for manufacturing. It's very easy. Either you can ask for a training on SQF in general, or you can surf the website, read the standard to be aware more about the SQF. Number 2, we have modules. So here you can see the different SQF codes that I already explained in the first few slides. So we have SQF for primary production, manufacturing, etc. We have for quality, and we have for food safety. And here, as you can see, according to the category of the premises, you have different modules. For example, the companies dealing with fresh produce and nuts, they can mainly apply to get registered for the module 10, which is called GMP for pre-processing of plant products, okay? For example, for seafood processing, module 11, GMP for processing of food products, same for the dairy, same for the egg, etc. So here, you have to select what type of premises are you dealing with to know what you are going to select as modules from this table. Register on the SQF database, so the company should serve the website and register, and here you should know that there is a fee per site, annual fee, يعني في مبلغ بندفعه annually to keep their name registered on the website, and this is renewable, so they should on a yearly basis register again their name or pay again the fee to keep their name on the website to be eligible to get the certificate. And here you should know that the fee scale, yes.
حتى البي ار سي هيك انه لازم يدفعوا annually؟
لا بالبي ار سي بالستاندرد ما بيكتبوها، بس بالاس كيو اف واضحه بالستاندرد. اوكي هلا الفي هون بالاس كيو اف we will see that the fee depends on the size of the company, okay? So and also the gross annual sales revenue، يعني قد ايه الشركه بتبيع. So it depends قد ايه عدد الموظفين، قد ايه كبروا، وقد ايه بتبيع. هذا الشيء كله بيأثر على قد ايه بدهم يدفعوا to register the company. So definitely before achieving the certification, it is obligatory to be registered on the website. Otherwise, the company is not eligible to go ahead with the next step, which is the certification. Use of the SQF consultant, I already explained this, that you can ask for an SQF consultant assistance. Basically, it's better to ask for the SQF assistant consultant specific to your type of food category, so to work in specific food sector categories. And here, whether or not you ask for the assistance of the SQF consultant, the SQF code obliges you to assign a qualified SQF practitioner. The SQF practitioner, what will do, he will oversee the development of the standard in your industry, the implementation, the review, and the maintenance. So basically, he will do the PDCA code in your company. أكيد 3/4 الوقت it's better to recruit this practitioner إذا معنا already. If we already have in-house someone eligible and being able to do all these tasks, definitely most of the time راح يكون food safety manager or quality manager. The training, so here the trainings, the employees who are responsible to develop, implement the SQF should participate in training courses to be eligible more about the, to be more knowledgeable about the SQF code. So regarding documentation and implementation, there are two different steps. We start by documenting. So, and when we say documenting, so you start by writing down what you do. In other words, بيقولوا بالSQF code, say what you do. So say what you do, you prepare procedure, you prepare work instruction, you prepare forms, so what you are doing right now in your project. So you are saying what you do. And then the implementation part is where you will do what you say by improving it, okay? So it's a bit similar to the concept of ISO 9001. So we write down what we are doing, or what we are currently doing, and then we apply it again, but by improving it. So do what you say in the implementation. So we start with the documentation part, and then we implement the policies procedure that we have prepared, okay? And the SQF recommends that a minimum of 2 months of record is available before a site audit is conducted. So let's say, no,
دكتور
yes.
يعني مثل ال PDCA cycle.
صح.
Okay.
So let's say today I'm willing to start considering SQF certification in my company. Okay, so بعمل the whole steps, لكن أنا I need first of all to select the code. Okay, I need to assign a practitioner in-house in my company to handle the task from A to Z. برجع أنا هون I need to document what I'm doing. ببلش هو بيقول what are we doing? Let's prepare a procedure for purchasing, a procedure for tak. So whenever he will finalize this work, he will start implementing. So he was implementing. He will start filling the forms. He will start checking if the flow charts that we have prepared are really matching with what we are doing. He will start the PDCA cycle, internal auditing. بعد ما يصير لي شهرين من هيدا الشيء صير eligible for an external audit. يعني I should have a record at least على شهرين to be eligible to ask for the certification. Otherwise, I'm not eligible. يعني ما في أنا اليوم بلش implementation وبكرة قال لهم تعمل certificate. The audit of certification requires at least records or data over شهرين. Okay? Guidance documents, they are guidelines available on the website to help you in the implementation of SQF. Select a certification body. How to select the certification body? So first of all, the certification body should be accredited, should be listed on the SQF website, and they are accredited according to an ISO entitled 17065-2012, okay? And they should be subjected to annual assessment by the SQF. So SQF, on a yearly basis, they assess the certification body to see whether they deserve to keep their accreditation with them or not, okay? And now what do I have to do, okay? So, في شيء urgent? طيب great. Okay. Bye. So the site should prepare, okay, a document before contacting the certification body, okay? So the site is required to have an agreement, okay? So أنا قررت أشتغل مع certification body that I selected from the website of SQF. The certification body is known to be accredited, because if it's not accredited by the SQF اللي هو ISO 17065, يعني this certification body is not eligible to award me a certificate. So I selected the certification body, and I need to make an agreement with the certification body on what. This agreement should include the scope of my certification. You know what is a scope? The scope basically will present the flows or the product or the flow charts or the areas that I'm going to cover together with the location. The expected time to conduct and finalize the audit and the reporting requirements, okay? So it's an agreement. So this part should be delivered by the certification body. So they will tell us that basically we need 1 or 2 visits or 3 visits, and we will see that the amount of visits depends again on the number of employees, on the annual gross rate of their sales, okay, and on the location or number of location. So number of branches, okay? The certification body fee structure, how I'm going to pay the certification body for this service, okay? كيف بدهم يقسموا لي الدفعات. The condition under which the SQF is issued, withdrawn, or suspended. So I should be aware that if, let's say, I will apply for the certificate, we have different scenarios. I need to be aware about the scenarios, okay? So the scenarios ممكن يكون عندي minor non-conformity يعطوني الcertificate، ممكن major، ممكن critical non-conformities. We'll talk about this in the coming slides. But I need to be aware when they can withdraw the certificate, when they can suspend the certificate, when I can renew the certificate, okay? So annually, I should renew my certificate, and the certification bodies appeal, complaints, and dispute procedures. So كل هالissues should be very clear. It's a kind of agreement that should be made between the certification body and the company before proceeding with the certification, okay? Conduct a pre-assessment audit. Usually the pre-assessment audit can be done by the SQF, either consultant or by the SQF practitioner. It's a type of internal audit to check if we are ready before going ahead with the with the official external audit. So now we'll pass to the part 2, which is the initial certification process. So we are now ready, we prepared ourselves. Now let's see from the auditor part, from the certification body part, what's going to happen. So the certification body should first of all select the SQF auditor that's going to handle my audit. They should identify the scope of certification. They should make the initial certification audit. They should identify the scope of the audit. They should inform us about the audit duration. So we have a guide for the audit duration. We'll see that we have 2 types of audit. We have what is called desk audit. Desk audit, it's an audit not on site, it's desk audit. So it's an audit of the documentation. And then we have a site audit, which is a site audit to make sure that what was written is really implemented, to see if they deserve or not the certificate. We have also what is called corporate audits. Corporate audits يعني أنا بسوى أكون شركة معمل بصنع بس عندي الcorporate part, okay, يلي هن they handle the sales. So the audit company or the certification body should audit also the sales department, should audit also maybe my graphic designer, okay? So we have what is called corporate audit. It's optional, but it's doable. We have what is called seasonal production, and for the companies who have basically high seasons, okay, مثل مثلا معامل المربى عندهم high seasons بالصيف, okay, so we should audit them during their high seasons to see whether they are really working appropriately during the high seasons. And then we come up with the system elements, which is the audit report, where we report the non-conformities. We come up with the record and the audit report, okay? So the selection of the SQF auditor, so the SQF certification body should select the auditor. The auditor should be aware about the type of production. So definitely it's better to select an auditor aware about or specific to this type of production. Okay, so the name of the auditor can be, so the certification body must advise the site of the name of SQF Food Safety Auditor at the time of the audit. So you can see on the website that the time of the audit is, let's say, today, and the auditor assigned this task is, let's say, Suma, for example, okay? So you have the right to publish on the website the name of the auditor. Identifying the scope of the certification. So the scope of the certification should be agreed upon. That's what we already mentioned prior to the audit. The auditor should be aware that this and this and this is included in the scope of the certification, and we can exempt some parts, and we can exempt some products from certification for the time being, and later on we can include them. The scope of the certification, what should include? First of all, the site. So decide when I say decide, I will close the session and open another one, okay?